All right, so Brandy H. Sullivan says, if I were to ever write a book on sexuality within the context of African American culture, the title would be "And the Brides Were White: The Reclamation of Black Women's Sexuality." Some chapters would be "Restoring Black Girlhood," "Bartman's Daughters," "Call Me by My Name," "Why White," "My Worth Ain't Between My Legs," "I Am Not Your Playground." And then she asks, what are some chapters you would add? Now, we're going to go into the comment section in a second, but I just I want to go through these titles to kind of see what exactly she would mean by it. And, like, obviously, my opinions on said chapters and assumptions, honestly. Restoring Black Girlhood. Now, initially, I read this and thought to myself, or do you mean childhood? Is that reference to when they're young? Because is she saying that they sexualized at a very young age? Which, if she is, she would kind of be right, because that is so ingrained in our. I don't know about other cultures. This does not mean that they don't, but that is so much in our culture. Sexuality is in which kids see it at a super duper young age. So I guess I'm assuming that would be about allowing young black girls to be just simply children again, as opposed to over sexualized from the jump. Bartman's Daughters. I don't know who the hell that is. Let me grab my tablet so I can Google this shit. Give me a second because screen record does not have pause. Not on Android. I should have did this earlier. Um, fuck is Bartman? Oh, Sarah Bartman was the best known for at least two South African cocoa women who, due to their large buttocks, let me see where I lost it. Damn it. Crap. I clicked the link and lost it. Let me go back. Because due to their large buttocks would exhibit as freak show attractions in 19th century Europe under the name Hottentot something. And I'm going to try to find a part where it talks about her daughter. Well, I can't find where it talks about her daughters. So I'm not going to spend too much time doing that. But basically, she was a woman who, because of her big butt, they put her on show. I'm not sure if that was like she was in, like, under capture, because I didn't read that far into it, so I really don't know. But I'm assuming her daughters had the same thing, had the same issue. So, uh, Call Me by My Name. Remember that song about 2 Chainz? Because they made a theme about that too, where he said, uh, "She had a big booty, so I call her Big Booty." Um, I understand not wanting to be called your physical assets. Um, I'm assuming that she feels that black women specifically would feel this way because of what they are known for. Um, because, like, everybody gets called their physical something at some point. I can't tell you how often I get called Snaggletooth. Uh, but I'm assuming that because it's the booty thing, it's immediately um cause degrading. But I'm trying to figure out if this would be well, if it goes in lines with the order she has these uh chapters. I'm assuming that she would have at least the majority of black women more on board with the idea as opposed to playing a part to the name calling. Why white? I'm assuming that's she's asking about the dress, and from what I know, it's about purity, and is I'm assuming that she doesn't want to have to be pure based on the next title, which is again, ladies, I don't know why you're fighting that. I don't. If you don't want to do it, just simply don't fucking do it. It's not like nigga can force you to like it's not this is not back in the day. It's not. So if you're really pressed about the whole virginity thing. I don't know I don't know why y'all act like y'all can't get a mate because you've had sex before. It's not the case. Right? Any dude who has any type of restrictions on your sexuality or your body or anything like that, all any the most a dude will be saying today is don't be out. It, literally, that's what it is. And even if you still decide, no, fuck that, I'm going to be a hoe. Like, why is that then the issue of everyone else? That's your choice. I don't understand that part. And then that's really answering the next question, but I mean, address the next title, which is my worth ain't between my legs. Now, I really don't know if you yourself can make that decision. And what I mean by that is, imagine men saying, my worth is not how productive I am. My worth is not my work ethic. And you would look at it's not really for him, right? You're going to need him for whatever it is that you need him for. His worth absolutely is determined by the suitors in which he wants. So, and I know this is like going too simple with it, which is why I really don't. I think y'all should rephrase how y'all say this and what exactly you're talking about. But again, oversimplifying it is if you had a dick, the same dude is like, come on, like obviously, right? So I think this is more of I am more valuable than making babies is what I'm assuming this is. I'm more valuable than, somebody bending me over and making kids for them. And then, taking care of said kids, which is okay, fine. Fine. I'm pretty sure there are guys out here who say yes you are. And then there are also guys who will say, no, fuck that. I want a baby maker who stays home and raises the kids. You got your choice. So don't understand why that is ever even really that big of a conversation. It's simply you want this, you want to be this, he wants this, y'all either gonna do it or not. Plain and simple. It's really if it's so hard to find somebody who shares your ideology, you probably are gonna have to adjust it or just live with the fact that you ain't gonna have nobody. It's really that's I don't understand why this ever goes beyond that. I am not your playground. And to that, I have to ask any woman who makes this statement, I have to ask you, are you sure? Because let's think about it. How many videos have I done addressing you have your fun when you're 20 or some shit like that, right? And if you are having fun with men, right? Wouldn't you then by default become a playground? You're both having fun. He's your playground, you're his playground. Like, you see how that shit is starting to backfire now? All of a sudden, you're not for fun anymore. But you are though. But you are, because you want to have your fun. He wants to have his fun. Your playground. That's just what that is. So let's get into the comments, because they she asked for what would you chapters would that you would add. And despite me disagreeing with some of hers, I do view her as a form of level headed when it comes to this discussion of men and women. I don't think that her comment section will hold such at all. At all. We're going to start at the bottom, work our way up. Larita says, include a chapter on some of the trauma toxicity we have to unlearn from older female relatives with survival mindsets. Girl, that's only a chapter, but a whole ass seminar or open forum discussion. Okay, now what is this saying? All right, the toxicity of older female relatives, right? With survival mindsets, right? What they're saying is when have you ever seen that Tyler Perry film where she set her daughter up with a rich guy and he started beating on her and she told her mom, and then she basically was like, well, I can't remember what she said, but she was basically like, oh, no, just figure that shit out. Figure out how to handle him beating you. You know what I mean? Like, basically just go through anything to have a man, right? That's what that is talking about. And, dude, we are so removed from that. I don't know why I act like it's still a thing. It is so removed from that. The only people who are still affected by those decisions are like women who've already went through this shit and had their kids. That's literally like a topic for like 40-year-old women. Because there's no woman in her 30s. There's definitely no woman in her early 20s that's thinking about, oh, I have to do whatever I can to have a man. I have to go through all this shit to have a man. None of you are going to do that. Y'all are in such luxury times as far as picking a partner. Y'all biggest problem is finding someone who has a combination of things you're interested in and them being serious about you. Like let's be real. Y'all can freelance. Y'all have your own money, the college degree, all this shit. Let's be real. What exactly are y'all are not working in survival mode? You're not. So I that would be a waste of a chapter, honestly. Unless you're selling it to, again, 40, 50-year-old women. Bartman Daughters could be a book all by itself. I wish I knew about her when I was a teenager. I might not have wasted my time with so many men who love black women but hated black people. I said what I said. What? Again, I didn't read the whole thing, so I really can't say I understand what she's trying to say, so I'll move on from that. Amber says, ma'am, you and I will have to chat later because everything I want to say on this topic wouldn't fit into this here post. LOL. I would like to offer a different perspective on the my worth ain't between my legs concept. Women don't realize the prize we truly are, which is why some give it up without a second thought. What we possess is worth more than what money should be able to buy. We are the prize. Okay, y'all already know I disagree with the we are the prize thing. We'll get to that in a second. But when she says, which is why some of us give it up without a thought, what does she mean give it up? Is she talking about give it up and become a technical wifey for a dude? Or is she talking about simply just having sex? I really would like to know which one she means by that. Because if she means having sex and just giving it up like that, then that would really step on a lot of today's ideology by women. It would shoot the whole you can have sex with whoever you want and still be good later right out the window. It would burn it to the ground. So I'm curious to what she means by that. And if she's talking about becoming the wifey or some shit like that to a dude without evaluating what exactly she could get on the open market, well, that would still speak to the same issue, honestly, because now she would have to vet from a very young age, meaning like adolescence or something like that, early teens. Okay, start preserving yourself because when you actually when you want to vet and actually find the best possible permanent option for you, you will still shoot the you can be promiscuous and still find a quality partner later. That would literally, it would, both situations would burn that idea to the ground. So, ladies, if you are the one of those who think that you can do whatever you want, you would have to address Amber, women like Amber who think like them, and say, "What the fuck do you mean? This doesn't make no. This is not correct." And then we are the prize, ladies. I've said this before. The things you all want, there is no way that you yourself could be the prize. Because if the guys that y'all describe are so outer worldly, right, that you would just be a mere just thing there. Your value would be so low to the guys that y'all describe, honestly. Y'all describe people that Jesus would deem the most worthy of all time. Like, dude. So again, you can't be the prize when you describe the men that you all want. So that's nonsense, honestly. And again, you want to be a prize, fine. But prizes, most of them diminish in value. They do. And a prize is only won once. When you get a trophy, they don't take the trophy from the last winner and give it to the next winner. No, they make a whole new fucking trophy. So a trophy, a prize only gets won once, and it usually decreases in value. And then it is really up to the owner that won the prize to determine what happens and what qualifies that prize, so on and so forth. So again, probably should stop using that. And let's see what she responded with. Oh, yes, we do need to chat. Absolutely agree. I would want to divest our worth from our sexual performance and ability to rely on sexuality as a component of our overall worth as women to further solidify that we are multifaceted creatures whose worth resides at every level. I'm not worthy because I can have good sex, but I'm worthy because of who I am. And because of that, I'll never give my body to someone who hasn't demonstrated commitment that shows he understands that worth. Okay, so it does sound like they're both saying promiscuity is not a good idea. I would really love to see them actually say this on a panel of women who feel that promiscuity is totally not even relative to your worth. It's not. And then to say that you're worth something at every level, to say that you won't give yourself unless you can demonstrate commitment. Does that not back up the idea that your value kind of is, a lot of it is in sexuality? Does it not kick that out? I think that sticks her foot in the mouth, but we're going to move on. Desiree says, well, come on, sis, write the book. And her chapters will be Pearls to Swan, The Men That Are Still Inside, Big Girl Panties. What the fuck what? This is a millennial that watches way too much. How young is she? I'm not viewing that story. All jokes aside, but I think she means something different by Big Girl Panties now. Serious. But I don't. What do you mean pearls to swine? I don't understand that. Maybe I'm too young to understand that. I don't know. Never have I ever on black girl stereotypes. Oh man, I would love to see what you mean by these stereotypes. Now I'm telling you what to do, but sis, this is needed for this generation and beyond. Plus, I want to read the book. I already know the author is dope. Stop comparing black women would be a good chapter also. What do you mean stop comparing? Stop comparing them to each other or other races? I don't understand. You would be compared regardless if someone is trying to choose a mate. So I don't know how you can tell somebody stop comparing you to anything. It's like seriously, you're competing with everybody, not just each other. And even if you're competing with just each other, it's still going to compare you to the next black woman. I don't. That's a no for me, dog. You're going to get compared regardless. Let's see what the replies say. Child, yes, it would be. We don't compete because we don't compare. What? Is that a bad thing? How do you not compare to someone else? If you can't compare to someone else, you probably, are like bottom of the barrel. Like like, unless trying to say you're so up there and elite, how do you have the problems you have? You can't say that. And I'm not trying to be an asshole, but you can't say we don't compare because we're so awesome, but then complain about all the problems you have. It's not. It's not possible. It's not possible because if you're so elite as a is speaking of the class of women, if you're so elite up there, right? Then being unwed, 70% unwed and all that wouldn't be a thing because all the other top men from other cultures would come and just swoop you up with no problem. And then black men would just be, with our thumbs, twiddling our thumbs. Like it wouldn't be an issue. So you can't make, this is what I think, this is what I say about black people. Like people like Godfrey would get on DJ Vlad and we do everything the best. We're awesome. We do this and this. And it's like, dude, then why do we have the problems we have? Until we actually like get the shit done and be number one, we can't say we are number one. We can't. We look fucking stupid. And that's the T. You can't then you say that shit like you just proved, like, come on, dude. If you better write the book, sis. Okay, I thought that was a title. She said, if I say this respectfully, don't make me jump in your DM. The publishing strategy isn't hard at all. It's time to receive from your labor in this area. Girl, the plight of black women in this country has not been explored and recorded correctly. And don't put any more information on Facebook. Move in the shadows so nobody can steal it. We don't want Karen or Becky trying to write our story. Listen, the plight of black women in this country has not been explored and recorded correctly. I would really like to know what exactly was left out. I mean, if you're talking about stories like the one where they just said Bartman, obviously they're not going to put that in the history book. So I guess you'd be correct on that by default. Moving on. What do you mean if you ever? Girl, you have to end some chapters. You're basically done. Fill me in on the chapter. Oh God, Amy, no. White Amy says, do you mind if I ask questions on this post? Respectful, of course. Just love learning. Just ask your fucking questions. I live in a predominantly white community, so my questions are to only understand, not fight, argue, or create friction. Do you think your statement is only for black women, or do you think it is white women issue as well? I can tell some black women read that and burned, like just started shaking. Do you think it's worse in the black community? Do you think white females stand up more? Man, this might get dicey. This might not be the platform for this question. That's the last thing we need is another reason to divide by race. If it truly is different in the black culture from the white, I would love to learn your thought process. And she responds, sister, these are some wonderful questions. And since your initial comment, I have actually been thinking about the ways in which there may be uniqueness in the experience of women between the two cultures. But to answer your question specifically, one, my statement is definitely not exclusive to black women. Isn't what? Isn't your statement about black women? And I think white women have issues with understanding and expressing their sexuality outside the confines of trauma, society, and even religious setting. How? How? Nigga, have you seen girls going wild? What the fuck is you talking about? I like how y'all say that y'all don't have control over your sexuality, but yet you have control over your sexuality. What the fuck? How? How are you fighting for both? Ladies, how are y'all fighting for both? How are you fighting for we want our sexuality to not be controlled by men anymore, or we want to control our own narrative, our sexuality, and we also want to like make a man work for our sexuality. What the fuck? You obviously have control over it. God. Two, I can't quantify the struggle here on either end, but I can say there are unique struggles on both sides pertaining to sexuality. I think white women may stand up more to advocate as a group for mistreatment sexually, but I still think there are so many who suffer in silence. Now that makes me think that they're talking about like rape or trafficking shit like that. And it's like you're not going to convince bad people like to not be bad based on like do you think you can march and share images? Like those dudes are really just going to be laughing at you like, yo, okay, bitch, I'll fucking like I'm currently trying to like binge watch 13 Reasons Why. And spoiler alert, there's this guy on there named Bryce who like rapes a lot of girls. And you gotta understand, like people like that, you're not going to be able to convince them of not. You're going to have to lock them up once they commit their crimes. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. But I could be wrong. That may not be what they're talking about. Anyway, next paragraph. Your questions actually have given me an idea for a chapter or chapters that include data from surveys of women from Black, White, Hispanic, Asian, and Indian that ask such questions as it pertains to their perception of sexuality and perhaps how they are choosing to teach their daughters about it, which highlight your points of not adding to further divide. If I actually ever wrote it, I would be certain to preface it with this because there may be women of other cultures who find themselves in these pages. Thank you so much, sis. Your questions have sparked something in me. So one more. Can I add one more? And she ain't respond. She said, "No, bitch, go away." Um, Obviously there are still cultures out there. I just don't think they're in America that try to control the narrative of the sexuality of women. And look, of course, me being a male, I'm going to do this. But y'all do realize that sexuality and marriage and all this stuff was set up at a time in which we did need structure. And the structure, we actually still need structure today. We just pretend like having fun is the only thing that we need to do. But we controlled sexuality for like because we needed to. And I don't know if you understand this, but it seems like we still need to. If you don't structure anything, it's just going to free flow, and that could cause a lot of bad things if you don't control something. Um, but in America, you have your freedom to do whatever it is you want. I think, and that I really think this always boils down to there are guys who I want who won't accept what I've done. And to that I gotta say tough shit. And the only reason that I say that and stick to that is because I don't see where your sexuality is being controlled. I don't. I don't. Where is it being controlled? Ladies, who's telling you that you absolutely can't? Who's controlling your sexuality? Who's controlling it? Who's making it that you cannot have sex until you're married? Who? Or is this really just I'm talking about the music videos? The women who volunteer to go there? I mean, the movies, the women who sign up to get the check despite the role. What exactly are you talking about when you say control the sexuality or control the narrative? And this idea, she meant something about teach their daughters. Yo, I've only heard women teach their daughters about sexuality when they told them, go have your fun, go do your shit because you're young. That's the only time I've ever heard it. I've never had a female friend ever tell me that their mom taught them about sexuality and how to be safe and smart. Never heard that. I've never heard that. But I have told them, have heard the conversation in which, a very brief conversation, which is, wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do because you're young, you won't be able to do it when you're older. I have heard that. And no, I'm not picking, this is a women thing, so we're talking about it. I've said before, men screw up the sexuality education with their sons like 99% of the time. And that's exactly my point. We don't have structure on sexuality in America, and it's a problem. We do just let it free flow, free for all, and all this shit, and it's a problem. It kind of needs structure. Otherwise, you won't have the problems that we have. But so I don't keep going on the same thing over and over and over again. Um, what do y'all think? And what the fuck? I'm going on Amy's page. What the fuck? How would you find this black woman's page? Is my question. Because if I were to show you, or if you were to see the shit she posts, you know Brandy is like straight up black woman the way she posts. I want to know how the fuck you found this page. Anyway, what y'all think? Be right, not positive.